Welcome back to Kenzo channel, where we explore all things home decor. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Today, we're diving into how you can turn a small space into a cozy, charming haven by incorporating vintage finds. If you've ever wondered how to infuse your home with personality and warmth while maximizing limited space, this video is for you. Let's get started. Vintage decor items are an incredible choice for small spaces because they not only add character but also serve as functional accents. From vintage bookshelves to quirky lamps, these pieces make a room feel lived in and full of charm. The best part? They don't overpower the space, making them ideal for areas where you need to balance both style and practicality. One of the key features of vintage decor is the variety of materials used. From wood to metal, vintage finds often feature unique textures that bring warmth and depth to a room. A vintage wooden coffee table or a metal lamp with an antique finish can easily complement the simplicity of a small space while still standing out. When selecting vintage pieces for a small space, it's important to choose items that don't overwhelm the room. Think about the scale and function of each piece. A vintage side table might be a perfect fit for a narrow hallway, while a mid-century modern armchair can bring life to a small living room without taking up too much space. Patterns can make a huge difference in small spaces, and vintage finds often come with unique prints that can bring a touch of whimsy or elegance. Whether it's a floral vintage rug or a pattern throw, these accessories can elevate the atmosphere and create visual interest without taking up much room. Mirrors are a fantastic tool for making a small space feel larger and more open. Incorporating a vintage mirror, especially one with an intricate frame, can add elegance and help reflect light throughout the room. This simple addition can drastically change how your space feels. Lighting is essential in small spaces, and vintage lighting fixtures can instantly warm up the room. A vintage chandelier, pendant light, or retro lamp not only serves as a light source but also as a stylish focal point. Choose one or two key lighting pieces that will complement your decor without taking over. Vintage furniture can introduce timeless style and provide a much-needed focal point in a small space. Opt for items like a distressed wooden chair, a vintage dresser, or a retro coffee table that tells a story. These pieces help create an inviting environment that feels both cozy and unique. In small spaces, it's easy to go overboard with decor. To avoid overcrowding, focus on layering your vintage finds thoughtfully. Mix and match items by varying their size, texture, and placement. A well-placed vintage lamp, paired with a vintage rug and a few framed prints, can transform a room without making it feel cluttered. Storage is often a challenge in smaller homes, but vintage furniture pieces like cabinets, trunks, and crates can provide both storage and style. Look for pieces with ample hidden storage and use them to keep clutter under control while maintaining an attractive, cozy atmosphere. Don't be afraid to mix vintage items with modern decor. Pairing an antique side table with a contemporary sofa or a vintage lamp with sleek shelving can create a dynamic and balanced look. The contrast between old and new can make your small space feel eclectic and stylish. Artwork is an easy way to bring your space to life, and vintage wall art can add a personal touch. Look for vintage posters, old paintings, or unique framed photographs that can reflect your taste and style. When hung thoughtfully, these pieces can enhance the character of any small room. If you have a corner that feels underutilized, consider turning it into a cozy vintage nook. Combine a vintage chair, a small shelf, and a few quirky decor items. With the right pieces, you can transform a forgotten corner into a warm, inviting space to relax or read. The entryway is one of the first areas guests see, so why not make it welcoming with a vintage touch? A vintage mirror, a rustic bench, or an old-fashioned coat rack can make your entryway feel cozy and charming while setting the tone for the rest of your home. Your bedroom should be a sanctuary, and vintage items can create the perfect cozy vibe. Consider adding a vintage bed frame, an old-fashioned nightstand, or a quirky lamp to bring warmth and character to your space. These items can be both functional and decorative in a small bedroom. A vintage rug can be the perfect way to ground a small room and define its aesthetic. Whether it's a Persian rug or a retro-patterned one, the right rug will add texture and interest while making the space feel more cohesive. styles like vintage throws, cushions, and blankets add layers of comfort and charm to any small space. Look for soft, worn fabrics that add a sense of warmth and lived-in character. These simple accessories can instantly make a room feel more inviting and cozy. An antique clock can be the perfect way to bring vintage charm into any room. Whether it's a mantle clock or a wall clock, the ticking sound and unique design can create a timeless, cozy feel in a small space. Sometimes, it's the smaller vintage accessories that truly complete a space. Think vintage vases, small trinket boxes, or old books stacked as decor. These items don't take up much room but make a big impact in creating a cozy, charming ambience. Vintage fabric used for window treatments can make a room feel warmer and more personalized. Whether it's a vintage floral curtain or a repurposed tablecloth as a blind, using these fabrics can create a cozy, nostalgic vibe in small spaces. different vintage styles, like mid-century modern with Victorian or industrial with shabby chic, can create a unique and eclectic vibe. The key is to balance the pieces so they complement rather than compete with each other. Play with color, texture, and size to create harmony. Don't be afraid to get creative with how you use vintage finds. For example, an old ladder can become a bookshelf, or a vintage suitcase can double as a coffee table. Repurposing these items is a great way to give them new life and make the most of your small space. Vintage decor isn't just for indoors. Incorporating vintage elements into your small outdoor space can add charm and character. Consider vintage planters, a retro bench, or an antique watering can to enhance the look of your patio or balcony. Incorporating vintage finds into your small space can completely transform it into a cozy and personalized sanctuary. From vintage furniture to charming accessories, these items not only enhance your style but also create a warm and welcoming atmosphere. If you enjoyed these tips, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. Share your favorite vintage find with us, and let's continue this cozy journey together. Thanks for watching today's video on styling small spaces with vintage finds. I hope you feel inspired to create your own cozy corner filled with charming vintage pieces. Don't forget to subscribe for more home decor ideas, hit that like button if you found the tips helpful, and share your thoughts or questions in the comments. Until next time, happy decorating!